Ralph Sonny Barger, a name that conjures up images of leather, motorcycles, and the open road. As the founder and the public face of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, Barger helped shape an American legend. He transformed a loose-knit band of riders into an international brotherhood that would leave an undeniable mark on popular culture and history. But behind the iconic wing skull logo and the roar of Harley-Davidson engines lies a complex and often controversial story, one of rebellion, brotherhood, and the blurring of lines between subculture and organized crime. Sonny Barger's journey from working-class roots to the seat of power in one of the world's most notorious outlaw motorcycle clubs is a tale of grit, charisma, and the pursuit of an uncompromising vision of freedom. In this episode, we'll trace Sonny Barger's rise to prominence and explore the early days of the Hells Angels, from their humble beginnings in post-World War II California to their emergence as a cultural force and a target of law enforcement scrutiny. We'll examine the club's clashes with rival gangs and law enforcement and take a deep look into the iconic figure of Sonny Barger himself, a man who became the public face of the Hells Angels and a symbol of the outlaw spirit. So strap on your helmet and get ready for a wild ride through the life and times of Sonny Barger, the outlaw legend of the Hells Angels. Warning: the following video is meant for educational purposes only and should not be taken otherwise. Apex Crime Lords does not condone, encourage, or glorify the actions of the individuals covered in this program. Viewer discretion is advised. Keep watching until the end to see what's next on Apex Crime Lords. Ralph Hubert Sonny Barger was born on October 8, 1938 in Modesto, California. The son of a working-class family, Barger's early life was marked by hardship and rebellion. His father, who was a day laborer, struggled with alcoholism, and young Sonny frequently clashed with authority figures. He got kicked out of high school as a freshman for fighting. Seeking a sense of belonging and purpose, Barger enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1955 at the age of 16, lying about his age so he could join. However, his military career was short-lived. After a few months, he was honorably discharged when his true age was discovered. Returning to civilian life, Barger found himself drawn to the flourishing motorcycle culture of 1950s California. He joined a local motorcycle club called the Oakland Panthers and immersed himself in the world of bikes, brotherhood, and the open road. In 1957, Barger and a group of fellow riders broke away from the Oakland Panthers to form a new club, one that would become known as the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, Oakland Chapter. The name, which was inspired from a World War II bomber squadron, was a perfect fit for the group's rebellious spirit and their love of high-stakes speed and high-stakes living. As the Hells Angels grew in number and notoriety, Sonny Barger emerged as a natural leader. His charisma, toughness, and unwavering commitment to the club's ideals earned him the respect and loyalty of his fellow members. He became president of the Oakland chapter, and over time, the leader of the entire Hells Angels organization. Under Barger's leadership, the Hells Angels expanded beyond California, establishing chapters across the United States and eventually around the world. They became known for their wild parties, their clashes with law enforcement, and their uncompromising loyalty to each other, a brotherhood forged in the fires of the outlaw lifestyle. But as the Hells Angels' fame grew, so too did the scrutiny and suspicion of the authorities. Sonny Barger and his club would soon find themselves at the center of a cultural and legal battle that would define an era and cement their place in the annals of American outlaw history. As the 1960s dawned, Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels found themselves at the forefront of a cultural revolution. The club's rebellious spirit and nonconformist attitude resonated with a generation of young people seeking to break free from the constraints of mainstream society. Barger, with his rugged good looks and magnetic personality, became the public face of the Hells Angels. He appeared in media interviews, which offered a glimpse into the club's secretive world and defending their way of life against critics who labeled them as dangerous outlaws. Under Barger's leadership, the Hells Angels grew in power and influence. They became fixtures at major motorcycle rallies, such as the infamous Hollister Rally in 1947, which helped solidify their reputation as the ultimate outlaw biker club. The Hells Angels' exploits became the stuff of legend, immortalized in books like Hunter S. Thompson's Hells Angels the strange and terrible saga of the outlaw motorcycle gangs. However, the club's rise to prominence was not without its challenges. The Hells Angels faced increasing scrutiny from law enforcement, who viewed them as a criminal organization involved in drug trafficking, weapon offenses, and other illegal activities. Sonny Barger himself served several stints in prison over the years, including a 4-year sentence in the late 1960s for possession of marijuana. Despite these legal troubles, Barger remained committed to the Hells Angels and their way of life. He helped establish a strict code of conduct for members, emphasizing loyalty, respect, and a willingness to defend the club's honor at all costs. The code, along with the club's distinctive logo and colors, which are their trademark leather vests adorned with patches, helped create a strong sense of identity and brotherhood among members. As the 1960s gave way to the 1970s, Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels continued to make headlines. They were linked to high-profile events like the Altamont Free concert in 1969, where a Hells Angels member was accused of ending Meredith Hunter during a confrontation near the stage where the Rolling Stones were performing. The incident cast a dark shadow over the counterculture movement and further cemented the Hells Angels' reputation as dangerous outlaws. Despite the controversies and legal challenges, Sonny Barger remained a steadfast leader, guiding the Hells Angels through the tumultuous decades of the late 20th century. His unwavering dedication to the club and its principles earned him the respect and admiration of his fellow members, and his influence extended far beyond the borders of the motorcycle world. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Sonny Barger's iron grip on the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club remained unshakable, even as he faced personal and legal challenges, including a battle with throat cancer that forced him to have his vocal cords removed in 1983. Barger's leadership and vision kept the club on course. Under Barger's guidance, the Hells Angels continued to expand their influence and solidify their reputation as the most notorious outlaw motorcycle club in the world. They opened new chapters across the United States and internationally, attracting a loyal following of rebels, misfits, and thrill seekers who were drawn to the club's uncompromising lifestyle. However, this growth and notoriety came at a price. The Hells Angels faced increasing pressure from law enforcement, who viewed the club as a criminal enterprise. Federal and state authorities launched investigations and raids targeting Hells Angels members, leading to numerous arrests and convictions. Barger himself was no stranger to legal troubles. In 1979, he was among 33 Hells Angels members indicted on charges of violating the Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations, or RICO Act, a high-profile case which alleged that the club was a criminal organization involved in drug dealing and murder, ended in a mistrial. Barger, however, would later serve time in prison on a separate charge related to weapons possession and conspiracy to distribute narcotics. Despite these challenges, Barger's commitment to the Hells Angels never wavered. He continued to guide the club with a steady hand, enforcing a strict code of conduct and maintaining the fierce loyalty of his fellow members. Barger's leadership was a mix of charisma, intimidation, and strategic thinking, which allowed him to navigate the complex world of outlaw motorcycle politics and keep rivals at bay. Even as the cultural landscape shifted and the countercultural movement of the 1960s gave way to a new era, Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels remained a potent symbol of rebellion and nonconformity. They continued to attract new members and maintain their grip on the public imagination, even as they faced increasing scrutiny and opposition from the authorities. Through it all, Barger remained the face and voice of the Hells Angels, a living embodiment of the outlaw spirit that had captivated a generation. His unwavering dedication to the club and its principles made him a legend in the motorcycle world and beyond, cementing his place as one of the most iconic and influential figures in American countercultural history. As the 20th century drew to a close, Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels faced new challenges and a shifting landscape in the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs. While Barger's iron grip on the club remained strong, the cumulative effects of decades of legal troubles, internal strife, and changing social attitudes began to take their toll. In the 1980s and the 1990s, law enforcement agencies ramped up their efforts to target the Hells Angels and other outlaw motorcycle clubs, viewing them as a significant threat to public safety. Federal investigations and prosecutions, such as the high-profile RICO case in the early 1980s, put increasing pressure on the club and its leadership. Sonny Barger himself continued to face legal challenges, serving time in prison for various offenses related to weapon possession and drug trafficking. These brushes with the law, combined with ongoing health issues, including a battle with prostate cancer in the late 1990s, began to erode his once unquestionable position within the club. Plus, the Hells Angels faced increased competition from other outlaw motorcycle clubs, such as the Bandidos and the Outlaws, who sought to challenge their dominance in the United States and abroad. This led to violent clashes and territorial disputes, further tarnishing the club's reputation and attracting unwanted attention from law enforcement. As the new millennium dawned, Sonny Barger found himself grappling with the realities of an ever-changing world. The rebellious spirit of the 1960s and the freewheeling outlaw culture that had defined the Hells Angels for decades were increasingly at odds with a society that demanded greater accountability and conformity. In 2001, Barger made the decision to step down as president of the Hells Angels Oakland chapter, the mother chapter of the club he had founded more than 4 decades earlier. While he remained a respected elder statesman and a symbol of the club's outlaw legacy, his day-to-day involvement in the Hells Angels operations began to diminish. Despite the challenges and setbacks of his later years, Sonny Barger's impact on the world of outlaw motorcycle culture and American pop culture at large remained undeniable. His name and image continued to evoke a sense of rebellion, freedom, and uncompromising individualism that resonated with generations of fans and admirers. Even as he faced the inevitable decline that came with age and changing times, Sonny Barger remained an icon and a living legend, a testament to the enduring power of the outlaw spirit he had embodied for more than half a century. His legacy, like that of the Hells Angels themselves, would continue to inspire and provoke, standing as a reminder of a bygone era and a way of life that refused to be tamed. The story of Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels is a tale of rebellion, brotherhood, and the pursuit of an uncompromising vision of freedom. From his humble beginnings in post-World War II California to his rise as the most iconic and influential leader in the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs, Barger's journey is a testament to the enduring power of the American outlaw spirit. Through his leadership and unwavering dedication to the Hells Angels, Barger helped shape a cultural legacy that continues to resonate with generations of rebels and nonconformists. He embodied the very essence of the outlaw biker lifestyle, with its emphasis on loyalty, individuality, and a fierce resistance of the constraints of mainstream society. However, Barger's story is also one of contradiction and controversy. The same rebellious spirit that made the Hells Angels a symbol of freedom and liberation also brought them into conflict with the law and with the values of broader society. Barger's own life was marked by repeated brushes with the legal system and by personal struggles and tragedies that tested his resolve and his commitment to the club. Despite these challenges, Sonny Barger's impact on American popular culture and the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs remains undeniable. His name and image have become synonymous with the Hells Angels and with the very idea of the outlaw biker, inspiring countless books, movies, and television shows that have sought to capture the essence of his legend. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Sonny Barger, it's important to consider both the romanticized image of the outlaw biker and the harsh realities of the lifestyle he embodied. While the idea of the open road and the bonds of brotherhood may hold a certain allure, the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs is also one of violence, crime, and exploitation. Ultimately, the story of Sonny Barger and the Hells Angels is a complex and multifaceted one, reflecting the dreams and struggles and the contradictions of a generation that sought to redefine the American experience on its own terms. It's a story that continues to captivate and inspire, even as it challenges us to confront the darker aspects of our cultural fascination with the outlaw archetype. As we conclude this exploration of the life and times of Ralph "Sonny" Barger, the outlaw legend of the Hells Angels, let us remember both the man and the myth, the rebel and the icon, and the enduring legacy of a uniquely American story of freedom, brotherhood, and the uncompromising pursuit of a life lived on one's own terms. Join us for our next episode, where we'll dive into the shadowy world of notorious Irish-American mobster James "Whitey" Bulger, whose reign of terror and corruption in Boston will become stuff of legend and infamy. We hope you found this story of Sonny Barger informative and thought-provoking, and we encourage you to continue exploring the complex and often troubling history of organized crime in America. As always, we welcome your feedback and engagement. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future episodes, please leave them below in the comments. And if you found this video valuable, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel for more content like this. Until next time, stay safe and stay dangerous.